Hello, everybody. Today, I wanted to show you guys a guide on how to do the ZF solo on a vanilla priest starting as early as level 40 uh, without a mount. You obviously getting there with a mount is easier, but you don't need a mount. And actually, pre 44, 45, I would highly recommend just not using a mount. Just because if you get dazed when you're just trying to mount past everything, you're probably screwed. So yeah, I'm gonna get into the guide and show you guys how to do it. This is just a clip of me doing this. This clip is not on a private server or anything. This is actually from the Night Slayer 20th anniversary server. This Soraka character is actually my character on that server, and I was doing these runs literally as of today when I got it down pretty consistent. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna get into the guide. Let's just hop straight into it. First off, before I do, I just wanted to give a big shout outs to the Classic WoW Priest Discord. And especially give a shout out to, I think his name is like Griffsway here or something like that. And then also Morris. These are the first two people I'd ever see bring this up. I had no idea. And I saw it and I realized, oh, for those of you who are curious, this is a modification of Tommy Salami's Paladin route for ZF solos. However, just instead of using Consecrate on this corner, you're going to use Holy Nova. So I'll link that video in the description. But that's the rough idea behind this run. But I just want to give a shout outs to Morris and Griffsway on the Classic WoW Priest Discord, who I'd never heard about this until they posted. So shout outs to them, especially Morris for making this video here, which showed his route at level 53 on how he completed this run. Anyway, so talents. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. I've actually spent, of my very limited gold supply on 20th anniversary realms, I still don't even have a mount at 42. I've spent like 15, 20 gold just doing respecs, testing out different builds. So it may be tempting to go down the disc tree first and get this talent and then Divine Spirit, because with this you can still get Holy Nova. This is level 41. You're at Holy Nova. This is before you start 42, and you have a ton of Spirit. You have 10% reduced mana cost on your spells. You have Inner Focus, Meditation. You have everything you'd want for mana efficiency. This is probably the best you're going to get in terms of maximizing your damage output, because you're not really going to get anything else out of this tree, with the exception of Spiritual Guidance. However, for those of you who don't know, Holy Nova scales at it's 0.107 ratio, 10.7%. It's one of the worst scaling spells in the game. It to give context on what that means is about 10%. So if you have 50 spell power, which is what you're going to get with 200 spirit on Spiritual Guidance, that's 5 extra damage. It ends up being almost nothing. So there's no real benefit to going further down this tree. You want to do that. However, this doesn't work. And that is because in order for you to consistently do the kill phase properly, you need Holy Reach. So as tempting as it is to go down here and get Mental Agility, Divine Spirit, and I've done runs on this and I've tried, trust me, you need Holy Reach. So go to 5 into Holy Specialization, 5 into Divine Fury, get Holy Nova, then come up, grab Healing Focus, 2 in Renew. These 4 points you could have put wherever, this is where I put them, and get 2 in Holy Reach. This only gives you 2 extra yards on your Holy Nova. However, with leeway mechanics, it actually ends up giving you effectively like another 3.5 yards or so. And because of where we're doing it, we can't get too close. It maximizes a lot the range we're going to be able to hit these people at. So highly recommend, if you're going to do this, get this build. Now, what do you do for the rest of your points? The rest are going to go into disc. Get this. This doesn't actually really affect the run at all, but I'll get into this in a sec. This is actually, conveniently, the build you're going to use to build a max level Smite Priest build. So pretty awesome there. So you don't have to get rid of this build. You can just dual spec, and this could be your DPS build. So anyway, this is what you're going to have at level 40. When you start at level 40, this is the build you want. 1 in Holy Nova, 2 in Holy Reach, 1 in Inner Focus, 3 in Meditation. This meditation doesn't get you nearly as much as you'd think, but it gets you something. You need all the mana you can get with this run. When I get into the gearing, I'm going to talk about Spirit and how much Spirit you need to really do this run effectively. But this is the build you're going to want. As you progress and as you get more points, what you're going to want to do is put 1 into Martyrdom. It doesn't really matter, but Martyrdom is okay. It's the best one on this tree. And you're going to go 5 into Mental Agility, because this it improves the mana cost or reduces the mana cost of Holy Nova by 10%. And then you're going to get 1 into Divine Spirit. At this point, you're pretty much done. This is the best this build is going to get for the AoE grind. But here, what I would recommend you do is that this naturally segues into a max level Smite Priest build, believe it or not. So if you want to build a Smite Priest build, first off, 2 into Searing Light, 5 into Mental Strength, 5 into Force of Will, and then DI. Sorry, PI, not DI. And then this is actually max level Smite Priest build. So the build, just by sheer coincidence, happens to build into Smite Priest. And this is also doubles as a very effective level 60 healing build for Discipline. So you could even heal in this spec. It's actually a great hybrid spec. I'd highly recommend it. You'll miss out on a couple talents. You're not getting Inspiration. You can always pull the 2 points out of Renew and put them in Inspiration instead. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, this functions as a good Smite Priest build. Anyway, so this is the talents. Next, let's get into gear. So this is actually the character. This is that Soraka character I was just showing you in the video. What you're going to want for gear is the same thing you're going to want on every priest you should ever be leveling, and that is Spirit. Every other stat is virtually irrelevant. Stam and Int, about the same, but it is Spirit and then everything else, and you want as much Spirit as you can get. Now, how much Spirit do you actually need to complete this farm? The answer is, pre-44, you need about 170 Spirit. Now, to go over why that is, if you look at this Holy Nova, right, it's 392, it's actually 400 base. The way Spirit works is that Spirit, this number right here, 209, let's just say it's 200 for a round even number. For Priest, the way Priest scales with Spirit, different for every class, is that it is a fourth of your Spirit, so 50 if you were at 200, plus 13 mana per tick. So if I am at 200 Spirit, I'm going to get 63 mana per tick, right? Now, if you add that up and you figure out, okay, how much do I actually need then to get to 400 mana? Well, it's about 6 to 7 ticks is what it comes out to. You need about 6 to 7 ticks, about 12 to 14 seconds of out of combat time to passively regenerate enough mana to get Holy Nova. Now, you have Meditation, and Meditation is going to give you a little bit of in-combat mana regen, so let's just knock that down a little bit. So what this number actually ends up being, it's about 170, 175 pre-44 to have a net positive to net neutral mana gain on casting one Holy Nova every single back, one max rank Holy Nova. After 44, you are going to want 220 Spirit because with Meditation, maybe 210, 215 if you're using mana pots. Obviously, you don't need as much, but you are going to want at least 220 to be net positive on your next rank of Holy Nova. So that's the breakpoints. 40 to 43, you're going to want at least 170 so. And then after 44, you're going to want at least 210. It's actually not that hard to get that. As long as just go on the auction house, you can find... I literally spent a gold 20 at level, I want to say level 20 on Night Slayer. And I got greens that gave me 120 Spirit at level 20. It is not hard to get the other 200, and that's without a neck, without a head, without etc., right? Just aggressively pursue Spirit items your entire time, and you absolutely will get enough Spirit to do this one. And then for items, you actually do need items. The guaranteed essential you need is some sort of speed up. So what I would recommend is you get Skull of Impending Doom. It's on a 5-minute cooldown, so it's perfect for this farm. It won't kill you. It doesn't do enough damage over the course of its duration. It only does 1,000 damage or something. I mean, it can do more. You can always cancel it if it gets really low. But you need some sort of speed increase. However, if you don't want to use Skull of Impending Doom, which, to be honest, it comes from a quest reward, but the quest super toxic to do. So I would actually recommend just use a Swiftness pot. Right now on Night Slayer, these things are 15 silver. It could be more in the future when you're watching this. If you have the gold, just use Swiftness pots. If not, go to the Skull of Impending Doom quest, and you won't have to spend gold every run, which is nice. If you're doing this at level 40, however, you do need one more consume, and you need a lesser invisibility potion. And that I'll show you where we're going to use that later. But you're going to need this. I've tried it a million times other ways. You need a lesser invis pot or a regular invis pot to get past a pretty key pack. Also, you're going to want to have move speed to boots. This isn't essential, but it's nice to have. I would recommend it. It's also like just my favorite foot enchant in the game. So definitely get that. So you're going to need a Lesser Invis pot, a Swiftness pot, or a Skull of Impending Doom. As much Spirit as you can get on your gear. At least 170 pre-44, at least 210 or so post-44. And then your talents, you're going to want at least to get Holy Reach, Holy Nova, and Inner Focus. I'll go over why we're going to get Inner Focus later, but essentially it's going to allow us to maximize our out-of-combat time. All right, so let's hop into... There was a lot of talking. Let's go ahead and hop into a... I'll first show you actually the other video. I'll show you how to get here at level 40. So this is at level 40. This is a level 40 character. This is the same character. I came in here to do it. Here I'm just showing you a map. 186 Spirit. I actually hadn't gotten my items out of SM yet. I hadn't run SM Cath yet because I was just like, I'm going to get this. Like, what you're going to do, first off, if you want to do this, you Mind Soothe these 2 or 3 mobs. If these don't end up Mind Soothing, what you're going to need to do is stay near the front, cast Mind Soothe from the entrance, and if they resist at level 40, because again, you're going to get a lot of resist at level 40, just run out, run back in, and then Mind Soothe them again. But anyway, you just need to Mind Soothe these 2 people. Then you're going to thread the gap, being closer to the left side than the right side. Now here, you're going to need to run through this pack. So what I would recommend is Mind Soothe the first one, just to give you a couple more seconds. And then you're going to run up, Psychic Scream, and then run up the left side. I'll show you this real quick. Run in, Psychic Scream, cast Renew on yourself or a shield whenever you get the chance, and then run up here. Now when you're running, when you get past this second Brazier, you're probably safe. Why is that? Because when you hop over this, it kind of bugs their pathing for a little bit, and they'll just sort of stop chasing you for a little second. So, and that's usually enough to make distance so you're safe. For the first reset spot, you're going to run up here and jump on this. Now, I have heard, for whatever reason, if you're like a female gnome in particular, you cannot make this jump. I don't know if that's true. If you can't, you see where this little heal bar I have here is in these 2 boxes? Run around and come in through the back side of the heal box. There's a little invisible wall over these 2 boxes. You have to run around, touch the wall, run in, and that is a reset spot. It's a bit more scuffed from here, so hopefully you're just not a female gnome, or hopefully that was a meme and that female gnomes can make this jump. Alright, so now all we're going to do here is just wait for threat to drop. And then we're going to show you where we're going to use this invis pot. The reason we need to use an invis pot here is that even if you speed or whatever you're going to do, this pack, and there's another pack right on the other side of this gate, are all just going to absolutely mess you up. There is no way to get past this without Invisibility Potion. You need at least a Lesser Invisibility Potion to get past these 2 packs. You'll see that in a second. So, drop to aggro, coming over here, hug this left wall, because again, your aggro radius is massive at level 40. You pop an Invis Pot and run out. You want to do this pretty quickly, but you're going to hug this wall, go left, and then run straight through this pack here. This is that pack I was talking about. If you don't have an Invis Pot, the guys behind you and this pack, there's also a pack over here to the left, are just going to absolutely destroy you if you don't have it. You can pop a Swiftness, you can try to get a good Psychic Scream off. There's no way you're going to get dazed and get killed. Once you get past this pot, hug a right, and go right into this Shadowcaster. Normally, these 2 mobs won't really see you, and if this one's a caster, they're not going to chase you. They're just going to start casting a spell on you. So here, it runs out. I'm right on top of the Shadowcaster. They're going to start casting a spell. This one's going to run up, smack me with the stick. And jump on these 2 boxes, because you can see this person stopped here a little bit. It kind of bugs out their pathing. And then turn your backs to face the mobs as best you can. Obviously, there's blood drinkers behind me. You do the best you can. If you have shield up at this point, obviously pop a shield, because you don't want to get dazed. It's not the end of the world if you do get dazed, but you don't want to get dazed. This is technically recoverable even if you do, as long as you get dazed in the right spot. And then you're going to run in this pot. This is a reset spot. I don't know why. It's the silliest reset spot I've ever seen. But just touch this pot, and you will reset the aggro of the mobs. Now, everything up to this point is actually super consistent on a level 40. You should be able to pretty much get through all of these packs every single time on level 40, even if you get a ton of resists. After that, what you're going to do, run back here, and then you have to get through these mobs. This is by far the hardest part you're going to have on level 40. What you're going to need to do, you can see I'm strafing, jumping, and kind of in midair looking at the guy. For those of you who don't know, you can only get dazed if you get hit from behind on an unshielded attack, an unabsorbed attack. So if you are strafing and jumping and looking at him when his attack hits you, it will not daze you. So you need to activate Renew and just sort of jump. And then here I am trying to like Mind Soothe this guy. Just continue to jump sideways, strafe, look at them. This is really hard to do at 40 for this very reason, this one part of it. And then this box is a reset spot. Again, weird reset spots in ZF, but this is a reset spot. Once you get here, you're completely safe. You know you've made it. But it's hard to make it down that hallway at level 40. If you get dazed, it's pretty much Joker. There's no way. So at this point, you can honestly just run past it. They don't really catch up to you, but to be safe, I'd recommend just letting it drop aggro. I'm going to skip forward a bit because they kind of stare at you a little bit. It just takes a little while. But yeah, here you can see I literally just am like, fuck it. I'll just run it. What I've found, if you do end up making this decision, you see how close they are to me? If you just hug these walls, they kind of end up bugging out. Like, you can see I'm not getting attacked right now. And it's because they're actually at 5 feet behind me. Like, when you... Well, okay, they caught up. But, like, they're not that close to me right now. There was one all the way back there that didn't get that feared. I don't know why. Hug the wall, it sometimes bugged their pathing. And here we are. We've made it to the kill spot. At level 40, no mount, and using only one potion. And the potion is actually really cheap to make, which is great. Now, obviously, I don't actually complete this run. I'll give you a spoiler. I die because I end up just being an idiot and jumping off the ledge here. But anyway, I can pull up other videos, but I have done this run at 40. It's the same thing as 42, so I'm just going to hop into the 42 one, which I thought was a much cleaner run. I'm not going to show you the same route because I already showed it to you, and it's literally the exact same thing. You can see here, I pop an Invis Pot. I actually popped a regular Invis Pot here because I had actually just killed myself before I did this run. So, running by, jumping on these two boxes, and going. It's the exact same run, however, you're just not going to get resist because you're level 42, and so this run is just so much easier when your Psychic Scream always lands. This is also a reset spot. I figured I'd leave this part in here to show you. If you don't want to go to the pot, you can go here. And by the way, you can actually wall hop all the way up this thing and up on this rock. It's like a secret path back there, but it's kind of hard to wall hop it. So, anyway. This running there is the exact same thing, so let's go ahead and get into the collection and kill phase, which is obviously the new part. Everything up to here is kind of the same stuff. So here I am. This, if those of you who don't know, let me go ahead and actually just back up in case you don't know this part. What you're going to do, when you aggro the boss, every zombie you click on from the grave is going to run to him first, and that's why this run is possible. So you're going to run in, jump into his room, and then just start clicking graves as you're running. Click every single grave. Don't click this grave to your left. Wait to click it, because otherwise the zombie's going to grief you on your next one. And the zombies are immune to fear, as most undead are, by the way. So now you're going to wait for threat to drop. Here I am just showing you. I'm showing you I have like a Hypnotic Blade. It's not that good. It's completely irrelevant. You're better off just having the most spirit you can possibly get in the weapon slot. I just want my 1 extra damage. Okay, so here you can see let me actually come back a little bit. What I'm going to do, as soon as this drops aggro, I am going to pop a Swiftness Pot. You cannot make this run without a Swiftness Pot. This second leg, you must have a Swiftness Pot. So you pop a Swiftness, or a Skull of Impending Doom, and you run through and click all the graves. If you don't have this, you're never going to be able to do this. Get this right grave, and then slip through the cracks here. If you don't have a Swiftness Pot, all of these mobs are going to hit you long before you get here. And then, to make this jump, by the way, I'm actually going to go back a little bit. if you want to make this jump is actually a little bit harder than it seems to make. What you want to do to make this jump is run all the way to the right. If you jump up running into this right corner, you're going to bonk your head on the wall. What you need to do is run all the way to the right and then jump to the left at this face. So go all the way to the right, look at the face, and jump left. So you can see here, that's exactly what I did. I'll show you it one more time because this one is a way it's easy to die on. Run all the way in, run into this corner over here to the right, and then jump left, and you'll get it every single time. Okay, and then the third one, once you get past here, you're golden. Just to kind of show you what this is. Once aggro drops again, you're going to drop down and start clicking all the graves. At this point, you have gotten all of the zombies. I actually missed a grave over to the right, but whatever. It's not the end of the world. And you're now ready to do the pull. Jump up to this ledge right here, and then wait for aggro to drop, and then we're going to start the pull. Okay, so what you're going to do is cast some sort of spell. Have a rank 1 smite on your bars, just because that has extra reach because of Holy Reach, so it can reach all the way across the arena. Smite somebody over there. They're going to leash their friends. I always like to jump sideways over this to make sure I aggro the boss. The boss will de-aggro, by the way. All the bosses in ZF don't chase you around the map. They de-aggro out of the arena. But this guy will pull the mobs that are kind of just sitting there. If you want to be safe, throw a Shadow Word Pain on them. But usually they aggro. See, I throw a Shadow Word Pain here just to be safe. But normally the boss will get it too. Run down and then just find a mob over here and smite him from range. Smite that mob if you have extras, and then all you're going to do now is jump across. Okay, so now we're into the fun part. You can see right now what I'm doing is I am rapid firing, jumping back and forth across this ledge. Why am I doing that? Let me wait till okay. You see how all the mobs are over here on the right? How they're all clumped up right here on this corner? If I take too long jumping back and forth, what's going to happen is all these mobs are going to start running down the path. And then when the new mobs come up, they're going to be in just a line behind them. But if I am rapid fire jumping back and forth like this, they end up naturally grouping up as they come up the stairs here. So having a really spread out line is probably the easiest way to kill yourself on this run. So you kind of need to know like your jump mechanics here. If you want to group them up as they're coming up for the very first time, jump rapid fire back and forth between these two. If you're in the middle of a run and you have a spread out line, and I'll show you this in this run at some point where I do this, there's 2 ways to fix it. There is a jump here and a jump here. And you just want to make as many of these jumps as you possibly can. So anyway, I'll show you this for a sec. Here I am. Now, here I'm going to start the run. What you're going to do, you're going to run up. Make sure you're running, by the way, because you need to activate the leeway mechanic. For those of you who don't know the leeway mechanic, in Classic WoW, every ability in the game, including melee attacks, that you can cast while moving, I should say, has a leeway mechanic attached to it, which is, if you are moving, and your target is moving, aka every single one of these zombies, then when you either attack them, cast an ability, cast a spell, whatever, you are going to get 40% more range on that spell. Which sounds wild, but that is the case. So right now, because I have a 12-yard range on my Holy Nova, when I cast Holy Nova, while I am moving and the zombies are moving, I'm not going to have a 12-yard range. I'm actually going to have, I think it's like a 17-yard range or something like that. It ends up being wildly big. Yeah, it's like 16, 17 yards, something to that effect. Which is almost the range of like a reasonable range spell. It's actually a really large radius. So you need to make sure. Now, there's 2 ways to activate leeway. Either you are moving or you are in the air. If you're jumping, leeway also activates. So what I would normally recommend, you see this little dark spot here? This little dark spot right under this 87 right here? This dark spot is the best spot you can stand. If they are on this wall in front of you and you're on the dark spot, not too close to the wall, and jump, you'll hit them. So you want to run over here, jump, Holy Nova, or kind of be over further to the left, and if you're a little closer to the wall, you can jump Holy Nova. You'll get the feel for it later. while you're doing the runs. That will activate leeway, and that'll pretty much always hit all of them. Now, after you've done that, you might have seen on a mage video, you're just going to jump back and forth here. You don't want to do that on this run. You're going to jump back in the pit, go over this side. I like to wait, and I'll explain more. I'll explain more now. As they come over and they're getting close, if you jump here, sometimes the mobs will recalculate their pathing, thinking that you're not in the air right here and that you're on the ground. In which case, they will stop what they're doing, they'll move back around and start chasing you down here. This doesn't end up happening this pull, but it will happen in future pulls, and you'll see that. So every time you come back, you want to do that, because if they get that pathing, it will always group them up like amazingly. So again, you see, I run, I jump, I hit my double Holy Nova, I come back here, and then I jump, and you can see, look at that. They all ran down there to try to get on top of me, right? Because the server, I don't know if it recalculates the, it doesn't happen on like a tick rate, but at some point they recalculate pathing for mobs, and if you just happen to get lucky when they recalculate it for all the mobs, they will all run down and then group up perfectly, and then look at that. Look at that stack. That's perfect. They run back. You run back to your little dark spot here. You see I'm a little bit left of the dark spot. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, you have a massive range with leeway. And then jump, and you see I go for 3, and then run back. And this is what you're going to do. Wash, rinse, repeat until every single mob is dead. Again, wait till they get here. Jump. Didn't get a recalculation that time. That's fine. Jump across. And continue going. All right. You guys get the idea. It is literally just minutes and minutes of this. Let me see when I get a long line here that I can correct, because you guys get the general idea now. I do a pretty good job keeping them together. At some point, this line gets messed up. You can see here again, run, hit them, move on. If you don't have Holy Reach, by the way, you're going to generally miss the ends, and you get kind of greedy trying to not hit the ends. Okay, so this one's a bit of a spread out line. Okay, you see here, it's a spread out line. This is kind of scuffed. What you need to be able to know how to adapt when this situation happens. Now, what you can't do is just ignore the attack. You must hit every single one of them every time you go around. And that is because there is a mechanic in Classic WoW, you may not be aware of this, it affects people who boost a lot. If you do not hit a mob for 45 seconds, or 40 seconds, is somewhere in that range, it's not always the same, it seems, you will lose XP on that mob as a percentage of health it's lost. So for instance, this Zul'Farrak zombie is at 67%. If I stopped hitting this zombie for 45 seconds, never got hit by a single ability, then it will lose 33% of its total XP. So if this mob was normally giving, let's just say 1,000 XP for the sake of math, it will now give 600 XP when you kill it. If that mob is at like 10% HP or 1% HP, let's just say it's at 1% HP, and you don't kill it, you jump back and forth, let your mana regen, and then kill it after a minute, it will be worth like 10 experience. It will be worth nothing. So you need to make sure you are always hitting every single mob at least every 40 seconds, which usually means once every go around. If you hit it on the second go around, it's usually fast enough as long as you don't dilly-dally if you missed it the first time. So what's going to happen is when they do this pathing, by the way, they tend to scrunch up as soon as they hit this vertical part of the mountain. And so that's sort of the part where like it kind of gets a little bit better for you. You can hit all of them. But if it does end up like really spread out, and let's see if I find a bad one in here. Oh, no, it's not going to be that one because they just got super grouped up for me. Let's see. Do I get a bad one here? Okay. They're pretty spread out here. This might not be close enough to hit all with one. What you're going to want to do is jump, hit the ones that you can, and then you're going to have to just use another Holy Nova to get the ones in the back. So like here, I think I missed one guy in the back. I don't end up caring, but I think I did actually hit all of them just because the range on this thing is stupid. It's actually crazy, the range on Holy Nova with Leeway and Holy Reach. It's literally like the range of like a Fire Blast or something if you're a mage. It's insane. I'm looking for a time when they get really scuffed. I guess I just do a pretty good job of keeping these together. I've had times where they all get kind of spread out. yeah, so this is the idea. You're going to run up, run over to your little dark spot, run back and forth. And then, yeah, just constantly cast Holy Nova and let your mana regen. If just to call out something, you'll see here actually. What I'm doing is I'm regenerating mana. I'm at 855, right? When you want to regen a lot of mana and you have Inner Focus up, if you cast Inner Focus, it doesn't end your spirit regeneration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Inner Focus here. I'm going to get one solid Holy Nova off. That's going to hit all of them. And you'll notice, you can see my ticks. It never stopped the ticks. The ticks are still regenerating mana. So this is going to get you a lot more mana back. I jumped up from 800 mana, and I'm probably going to be at like, what, 1800 mana by the time I activate this. Look at this. Yeah, 1771. I regenerated 1,000 mana without leashing them and messing with their XP. Okay, one last thing to call out. So you guys generally get the right idea. Again, I'm going to link you Tommy Salami's guide on how to do this on a paladin. If you ever fall, if you ever fuck up a jump, if you run in this little crevice right here, right where this big boulder pillar thing meets the boxes, you wedge yourself in there, it's a reset spot and you can save the run. If, however, you don't get the box, you have to reset and go again completely fresh instance. You're never going to be able to get back in here without resetting it. It's just not possible. Okay, yeah. So here it is. Let me just show you the kill phase again. So you can see the XP I got. Let me just start off. So you can see how many bars in I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm 7 bars in. I finished the run, and I am at, let's see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A little over 15. I got 8 bars, so about 40% of a level from this run. And I think I might have even missed a couple guys out there. But yeah. Yeah, so this is the runs. This is how you level a priest solo in ZF. I hope you found the guide informative. Just to give you guys an update on the channel, I probably will be making more video guides coming up. However, I know some people have asked me to make more leveling guides for other classes. I was originally thinking of doing that because I used to play a bit of Rogue. But honestly, I think I'm going to focus the channel just on priest gameplay because I play a priest and I don't really play other classes. So I can't really give you guys in-depth knowledge on other classes. So I'm going to continue making priest videos. Hopefully you guys enjoy priest videos. In fact, after this, I will most likely be making a follow-up leveling guide V2 because simply the presence of this ZF solo find is so much so that I don't think it's ever like actually optimal to spec shadow. I think you will never spec shadow again if you're playing optimally as a priest. I think you should stay disc or holy. I'll get into that in my leveling guide. I think holy pre-40 is actually still really good and completely viable. But I think post-40, you're going to want to do this. And under real-world scenarios, after you finish this run at 54, you finish all your ZF solos, you're probably just going to go farm your Prebis anyway while you're leveling. So just go run BRD, get up to like 57, get every single item you need out of running BRD, get like lava runs. The benefit is as a healer, you can heal or run without being a relevant level. So even if, you know, Emperor Thorson in BRD is level 60, you can heal it on 57 and it's completely fine, especially if you're the proper holy spec. So definitely take advantage of that, set up your own runs. And you have other people, you can farm your Prebis and do your XP at the same time. And if you're doing it right, you can probably get most, if not all, your Prebis done by 60. Anyway, I'm going to get into that in that video guide. I appreciate you guys watching the video. I know this was a long one, but yeah, this is really cool. I'm actually stoked that this got found. It was one of the things I'm like, man, I love doing CF solo. It's such a good XP grind. But it's just not possible in Priest. And then I see the Discord light up, and I'm like, I got to figure this out. So, yeah, that's the guide. I'll see you guys in the next video.